So, it's been 2 more weeks since the last update, and you remember in that video, I showed you guys this, the finished product after giving it 2-3 weeks worth of drying and painting it up. I finally have a great and clean one, and now, that's my patrol detachment so far. But I don't know if you remember in the last video, I was talking about these guys. The beasts of Nurgle. That I said they were like dogs. That they don't think of their victims as victims. They think of them as playmates or toys or whatever. And then I showed you guys one that I had started making with the magic jar. And if you notice, the magic jar is running pretty low. Because I had started work on what was one beast of Nurgle. And I finished it. This is the first one. And the fluff says that they have a slime trail, and that's why I left all that neon gunky looking stuff at the bottom, and I used a high shine gloss to make it look like it's still wet. This is actually dry. This thing has been actually finished for the good part of 2 weeks. They're supposed to have, according to the book, appendages. It doesn't specify, so I gave mine what could be considered some weird type of hooves. And well, yeah, this was the first one. But that's just one. I couldn't just make one. And so after a little while, I started working on this one. And I finished it. Same deal. High shine glass, making them look wet. The tentacles, since I have long hair and I like things with long hair, I decided, well, screw it, give it abundance of tentacles. I gave it 3 eyes because I wanted to go with the whole 3 circle logo that Nurgle had, and that kind of, I don't know, it half worked out, half not. Can't really say. But yeah, so I made 2. And then I got bored and I made a 3rd one. This one was really, I had no clue what I was doing. I just started throwing things together to see if they would work, and they kind of did. I mean, hot glue for these slime drips, neon paint for the slime trail, the high shine gloss for making it look wet, the cutting into the actual shell after it's dry to make the scars, because this doesn't actually stay closed. Stay open when it's pliable. If you cut into it when it's pliable, it'll shrink, or the space around it will swell up. It'll make air bubbles and it'll close up. But if you wait for it to dry and then cut into it, you can make scars and gashes and stuff like that. Paint it up pretty decent. And then I had a really nice thought. What type of a demon player would I be if I didn't make the one gun unit that Chaos Demons have? So we go here through the book, past the national, past the bullet court, we go all the way to these guys. Everybody knows what these guys are. Everybody that plays demons anyway. I have a soul grinder already, but it's in my Slanesh army, and he has the sword. He's basically the same thing, but, well, purple, because I like purple. I like my Slanesh demons purple. But at first I thought, am I going to have to build a whole skeleton for it? So I got a roll of wire, and I sat down with a pair of tweezers and a pair of pliers and everything, and I built this thing. And first glance, I thought, well, that's probably gonna work. I'll have to just build up with the sprue putty around it, and it'll be solid. This thing doesn't have to hold up to a lot of punishment, but this was too much of a headache to put together. It took me like half an hour. Yeah, half an hour isn't really a lot of time, but when you're working with material that takes like 2 or 3 days to cure, this doesn't seem like a lot of time, but I don't know why it didn't convince me. And then I looked through my bin to see the bits that I had left over, and I realized that the kit for the Soul Grinder has the same leg bits as a defiler because it's basically the same kit. The difference is the top half. The Soul Grinder has a demon top half that includes the claw, and then the defiler has a chassis with a cannon in the middle, but it has the same claw. But a defiler can choose to have two of this style of claws on the front feet. So the Soul Grinder kit that I had one foot left over. And I looked into that, and I had a couple of other extra bits left over, and I figured, let me see, I could pull something out of nowhere. So started with this, threw this idea out the window, and it's been 2 weeks, and I made this guy. And from the Soul Grinder original kit, I got this piece all the way up to here. This is left over from one of the claws from the original kit because I cut it in half to make it possessed for a kill team. And these two leg bits. And if you're wondering why I didn't give him 6 legs, it's because my original idea was to make 3 legs to go with the logo aesthetic. But then I thought, well, he should have a more steady platform. I mean, he's going to be big, swollen mass of rotting flesh metal. So yeah, let's make it bigger. So I gave him 4 legs. Didn't give him 6. Oh well, go figure. I didn't feel like it, but for all intents and purposes, he's pretty stable and the stuff cures pretty hard. The one problem I had was that the legs I made with sprue angle parts, and the glue that I use dissolves with the acetone. So I had to make the legs, let them dry, then sculpt the putty in layers, in thin layers, so that it would not melt the glue that was inside the legs. That's why these are hard. You had to make the leg, wrap it in putty, dry it, wait a couple of days, wrap it in putty again. That's why it's taking me a week or two to put things together. But this guy's, I don't know, I like the way he's turning out. He's pretty big. I put these night masks on the leg. 1, because it's armor. 2, because it makes it look like he has battle trophies or whatever. The claw I didn't have to do a whole bunch of changes on because this comes just like this from the kit. So if you have leftover Defiler, Soul Grinder claws, you could probably put one of these together. Harvester Cannon was kind of funny though, because I can use the Warp Claw and have the Harvester Cannon because I didn't want to make another sword. The sword, the Great and Clean one, already has a sword, and if I was to make a Warp Sword for this, or whatever it's called, I didn't want it to look like this. And I would have to, I don't know, figure out another sculpt because this was the best idea I had with this type of putty so far. I didn't know if I could make a finer sword to work, but I gave it the claw. The claw stats wise is decent enough. And then the Harvester Cannon, these are from a different type of sprue that I have from a Leviathan Mortis from Dreamforge, I think it was. It's a totally different company, but I don't think you can get those models anymore. And then I glued a whole bunch of the studs together and made barrels, and then I'm going to have it connected with, I guess, veins, intestines, pipes, whatever the heck. But it's already glued. I'm waiting for this to dry up as of now because these are from today. This is new. All this cannon part is all today's work plus this. Everything else has been drying pretty good. That's why it's hard. The head, I am still stumped on what I'm going to do for this thing's face. Because I kind of want it to have the same tentacles as the beasts, but then instead of being tendrils hanging out the back, they're going to be like pipes connecting it to its body so that it has the phlegm bombardment veins coming out of the top so that it looks like it's all connected. Like I can probably get away with making tanks or something on the back, or like an exhaust pipe like a chimney or something. But yeah, this is the latest thing that I'm working on, and I don't know. It's a pretty good size army so far. 2 HQs, 1 troops, because these are the only models that I bought, and the kit only makes 3, but I stuck all the ones that are left over together, and I made a 4th one, so go figure. And these 3 beasts that are basically bodyguards because of the attention seeker special ability. If everybody knows, or if anybody knows what the attention seeker ability, put a like on the video. And yeah, this is what I'm working on next, and I'm kind of stuck because of the face, but let's see what I can come up in the next 2 weeks, and maybe I'll have it, if not completely assembled and things go smooth enough, I could probably get it assembled and put together by next time. I don't know. No promises, though. But either way, let's see if I can make Papa Nurgle proud.